It's the third time it has been reported, and the second instance of a sex scam in the Navy being reported in the Navy in just 5 weeks. With us in the studios of the Newshour this evening from Delhi is the young lady who first exposed the sex scam in April. Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us in our studios in Delhi. We, of course, are not revealing the identity. We want to keep the confidentiality of the person who has come into this case, and I appreciate the fact that you are with us, ma'am, in our studios in Delhi and are willing to speak about this. Thank you very much indeed. Also with us is Commodore C. Uday Bhaskar, former director of the IDSA, and Brigadier S.K. Chatterjee, senior retired army officer, former deputy director general of public information. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Now, the sex scam in the Navy has come up a second time, ma'am. You went ahead and complained in April. At that point of time, the Navy did not seem to take your complaint seriously. What went through your mind when you saw another case similar to yours coming up now?
First time I complained in the month of March, not in month of April.
March, yes.
When I saw this another complaint, I was just expecting all these things are happening in Marco basis, because my husband is a Marco. I thought the special officers are having a lot of time. They just work 1 or 2 hours, and rest of the time they do all these things. But I was suspecting, yeah, in other bases also they do all these things. So when I hear another case, I understood again that lady hasn't complained a police case. Nobody will help her out. In case of me, as I complain to police, at least I can take help of court. So I can, as they are influencing police also, these Navy people are harassing me so much. I don't think the lady will get any benefit, because these Navy people, they don't do proper investigation. But it is happening, so many cases it is happening. I appreciate that lady after seeing me came to media, whatever he did it. But there are many incidences, it happened in front of me, but nobody dared to come to civil police or written to Chief of Navy Staff.
Did, in your case, for people who may not be familiar of what happened in your case, you took the charge that you were being sexually exploited by your then husband. You were being sexually exploited by him. You took the case to senior officers. And what did they tell you then?
See, when I saw first initially, it was happening in Marcos East, INS Kalinga. When I saw all these things, my husband said, as I am a civil service aspirant, he said, Navy is working like this, and if I am not listening to my seniors, I will be thrown out of the cadre. I have really worked hard, so please understand my problem also. You clear the exam next year within 1 or 2 years, then I'll leave the service. I'll probably write the IPS limited exam. So I'll become an IPS. I'll leave the Navy job, so that we can have a good life instead of going to this complain all these things.
What briefly?
So I listened to him. I came back to Delhi.
Briefly, I don't want to get it. Briefly, what were you being asked to? What is the compromises that you were being asked to make? I don't. In whatever, broadly.
First time when they do a, like any new officer is getting married, they do a welcome party. And in that party, they just let you know Navy's rules and regulation and how all parties they arrange. So he is that time commanding officer, told me like what kind of parties they have, what all dress codes will be there. And next day I was been invited by a lieutenant commander who is posted in border as of now. When I went to his house, firstly I was been told to consume alcohol. I never had drink, even my parents or my grandparents, they also never drunk. And then I saw there is something fishy happening. Then I complained to my husband. So he said, why you are worried about others' life? You just be in your life. Then all these things, whatever I am telling, second time I saw my husband with one captain's wife. They were making love.
Why?
I came through another.
Why did you just want to?
Yeah.
The Navy says you have a series of complaints against your husband. They say this is not what you are saying is not correct. There is a history of complaints you've had against your husband since 2009. That's one. They also say they also are saying that.
Do you have?
No, I'm just telling you what they are saying. The Indian Navy told the Ministry of Defence that these allegations stem from marital discord, and the allegations were made after you filed for divorce and not before. In other words, they're casting aspersions on why you are raising these issues now. This is not my view. I have no views on the matter, but I'd like you to respond to that perspective which the Navy put in your case.
Arnab, I would like to tell you, Navy doesn't have anything to save their reputation. So because of that reason, they are making all fake allegations. First of all, Navy doesn't have any right before doing any investigation. They came to media. They said that this girl is lying and all these things. So it is affecting police investigation also. Without any formal investigation, how could any organization come up to media and say that this girl is lying? If I am lying or telling the truth, they should have done a proper investigation. Thereafter, they could have come to media. I would have appreciated them. And my husband, and you are talking about my husband's divorce. My husband filed divorce on month of March 24th.
Right.
And that was after my complaint. 2nd of March, I have informed to Chief of Navy Staff. And what happened is, whatever they have returned to Ministry of Defence, just for saving their reputation and saving this Commodore and Captain, because very senior, there are 6-7 officers are involved in this. So they just right now also they are coming and threatening me. They don't have any other way to save these officers. They have to tell that this is a marital discord, and in board of inquiry they are saying this girl is mad. You tell me, am I looking that I am a mad? Today I studied from IIT and I am a civil service aspirant. If Navy is saying I am a mad. And one more thing I would like to tell you, my husband has filed a divorce on the basis stating that I am mad. That is why she doesn't want to stay with me. And he came to this SCP, one Asa Thakur from CAW cell. He came to meet that Basant Bihar, whoever people of Basant Bihar police station, and he was requesting everybody not to register the case. When he realized from people that there will be a case and he'll undergone problems, he returned to Kochi base. He spoke to his Commodore, his captain, flag officer commanding in chief. You can check out his mobile call details and have a proof, because while he was speaking to these people, there is a recording, one seller recorded, and thereafter he filed for divorce. They said this is the only way to save the officer. So file for divorce.
Is there been a cover? I just,
yeah.
Ma'am, I just want to tell you one thing. That I am not taking any opinion on this matter. I'm listening to you, and I want to listen to the other side as well, because and let me get you in. Commodore Uday Bhaskar and Brigadier Chatterjee. Here are some very serious allegations that are being made. The first question, Commodore Uday Bhaskar, would be, you know, last time when there was this, her case came up, at that point of time the Navy covered it up. They said that nothing has happened, there is no seriousness to the matter. They suggested that she is making these allegations because she has a problem with her husband. Why is the Defence Minister of India getting serious when similar cases being reported after 1 month?
Arnab, I think first of all I should clarify my own status here. I am not the other side, you know, whatever that means, because I am reacting to this like you in a very neutral manner and going by what is available in the public domain. Now I just heard you playing a clip where the Honorable Defence Minister, Mr. Antony, made it very clear that there is no cover-up, that if a matter has been reported, whether to him as the Defence Minister or to the Chief of Naval Staff or anyone else in the hierarchy, the matter would be investigated. Now, in this specific instance, I am only going by what is available in the public domain, and I'd just like to repeat this point, that the suggestion that sexual favors are part of the norm for career advancement in the Indian Navy is such a counterfactual statement, and the fact that we are discussing this on national television is a slander. I mean, I'm frankly very disappointed that I agree these cases have come into the public domain, but there could be some perspective about how these are being portrayed. Now, any kind of marital discord, and I'm sure you'll agree with me on this, Arnab, is firstly a very private matter between the two individuals, and I don't think any of us have any kind of knowledge about
but what the lady is alleging, see, this is not what the lady is alleging, and also what has been the second case which has come up now is not, Commodore Uday Bhaskar, with the greatest of respect, an altercation or a discord between two individuals. They are talking about others within the Navy structure who have played a role in allegedly seeking sexual favors from the wives of junior officers. So, with due reference to what you are saying, Commodore Uday Bhaskar, this is not just another case. The allegation is pretty serious. The allegation goes beyond two individuals.
Arnab, again, with the greatest of respect to you as a national anchor, I am just saying that when an allegation of this nature is made, it is, as you rightly said, one side of a certain story. Now, I am entering this particular debate this evening, or a discussion, if not a debate, based on my 40 years in the Navy, and all I'm saying is that this is something which is so over the top that career advancement in the Navy is being conducted through this particular route. I'm saying that's not true.
Well,
now, if you say there is a specific case, there is an aberration, my own response is, let there be a thorough investigation.
Yes.
And I'm sure that any good reporter, and you're the brightest of the lot in your own, sort of peer group, that surely you can link up, the dates of various cases. I'm reasonably familiar with the case that hit the press today. Can you give me 30 seconds, Arnab?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that there's one side of the story which you and your team have brought into national focus. But from what I gather, there was an agreement which had been arrived at in the middle of April in a court, and a week later, the family of the girl is reported to have written this letter to the Honorable Defence Minister, who, the moment he gets it, has done the right thing. He said there's no cover-up, but we will investigate. So I'm disappointed for two reasons. One, such serious slander against an institution. And secondly, shouldn't a good reporter do a little more investigation?
No. One second. Commodore Uday Bhaskar, you see what happens is, when we discuss something wrong that is happening in the police, we are not slandering the entire police. When we discuss something potentially wrong that has happened in our political structure, we are not saying all politicians are bad. Similarly, when we are discussing something that has potentially happened in the army, we are not for the slightest suggesting everybody in the Navy is of a rules, moral character, or these things happen. It is nothing more ridiculous than to say that. But we are discussing it today because for the third time such cases are being reported in a few months, and because the cases are fairly serious, I'd also like, yes ma'am, you wanted to respond to Commodore Uday Bhaskar. Please. Brigadier, I'm coming to you. Yes ma'am, you wanted to respond to Commodore Uday Bhaskar.
When he's talking about investigation,
yeah.
They already made a press release without doing an investigation. I have papers. On 12th of March, I have received a letter from Chief of Navy Staff that they are doing investigation. And for investigation, I am a complainant. I haven't written everything. So they would have called me for the investigation. Without me, investigation is not proper. So that means second letter I have received on 22nd of April. This paper shows they are doing the investigation. So before any investigation, how could Navy came to media and stating whether I am lying? And I would like to tell you, I was crying like anything. I was crying. I was begging everybody, please help me out. There are people who are seeing me. There are sailors. If there will be a proper investigation, they can come up and tell. And I called up before I was having my phone. Before they could have snatched me, I called up my friends. They heard it. I was brutally. I cannot even explain you what happened to me. I went to Chief of Navy, that Commanding in Chief's office, and I said, this is the complaint I want to give. I was been kidnapped and kept in a room. All these things I wanted to tell him. Instead of doing something, if they are talking about there is a marital discord, they really wanted to sort out the case. What they did, Did anybody from Naval Wives Welfare Association came and met me? I never met any president or secretary of Naval Wives Welfare Association. Only two people who were accused in this case, only I met them. And I cried like anything. I was begging everybody. And civil police was not allowed to come inside. I cannot even imagine that day what happened to me.
I want you
I just escaped. Today I am alive.
Ma'am,
and he is telling that nothing is happening in Navy base. How could you say?
I think you see what did I just said there that I am not either prejudging this case. There are different points of view, and I am again saying this is not an institutional issue. If it is the case, individual case of injustice which has happened, I really think it must be looked at.
If
the question, Brigadier Chatterjee, I'm running short of time. Brigadier Chatterjee is with us in Delhi. Brigadier Chatterjee, the lady is making a point that without hearing my point of view, how are you determining whether I'm right or wrong?
Arnab, let me first start by saying that I have all my sympathies for these two young ladies, who get married. I'm sure nobody gets married to get into a situation like this. But then there are certain inconsistencies one has to point out. And I'll take off from what she has said herself, that she was offered alcohol in a party initially when she went over there. I mean, you offered a drink when you go to any party anywhere in Delhi also, and if you don't like it, you don't have it. Nobody really forced it down, Connor, as I see it. Nothing of that sort. And the Navy gave a statement to the press without having a proper inquiry. Well, I'm sure the Navy is not so foolish an organization. It wasn't just about they're on board with us yesterday. I'm sure they had done some investigations and they've found out what's the truth about it and gone about it in the press for that matter.
They're going by background.
Thereafter,
if they have done an investigation, Arnab, I would like to say something.
Yeah.
If they have done some investigation, but why 22nd of April I was been summoned? That means it says they haven't done any investigation. 12th of March they have given a letter to me. Investigation is going on, and 22nd April I have received a letter that I have to attend the board of inquiry. Paper shows that they haven't done any investigation, and I am the complainer. Without me, how could any investigation they are doing?
Well, yes, Brigadier Chatterjee.
I'm filing the defamation case against them. I have already spoken to.
There's a whole organization. There's a whole organization. It has set procedures. Nothing like this.
Because they are all corrupted. This Commodore is involved. This captain is involved. That is why they want to
try and say that this whole organization is incapable. We say that this whole organization is incapable of handling an inquiry, which is not a routine inquiry, which is a very serious inquiry. In fact, I'm sure the Navy would have put men on the job and found out before it goes to the press.
No. If it is happening,
well, may I make a suggestion, ma'am?
Yeah,
may I make a suggestion, ma'am? Ma'am, can I make a suggestion?
No proper inquiry.
I want to ask in the interest of fairness. Would it be proper, Commodore Uday Bhaskar and Brigadier Chatterjee, that if this young lady who's on the program today feels that justice was not done to her, then if the defense minister is doing an inquiry in the sex scam which has now come up, the alleged sex scam, then perhaps it is proper to do a detailed inquiry, let the lady come appear before the inquiry and come to judgment after hearing her, and then at least there will be a sense of fairness in this case. Would you support that? That you inquire all the previous such incidents and find out what is right or wrong, how much truth there is in the matter, and punish the people if required. Do you support that, Brigadier and Commodore Bhaskar?
Look, as far as I'm concerned, you don't have to go into too much of history because there's not much history.
You're saying don't go back
in the Indian Navy as such.
No, in this case, in her case.
No, of course, as far as inquiring is this is concerned, I'm sure the Navy isn't. In her case, the Navy isn't closing any files blindly.
Okay.
There's a laid down procedure. Nobody's going to put his job on the line for saving somebody else so easily, or not for saving the Navy's reputation.
Yeah.
Everybody is quite practical about it, and that you lose your job in a thing like that. I'm sure they'll do it.
Arnab, what you have said is unexceptionable. I think it's absolutely appropriate that given the nature of the allegations that have been made, there must be a thorough investigation, and I can assure you that whenever there have been such cases, the Navy has carried out a very thorough investigation, and there are instances that the media perhaps is not even aware of where investigations have been completed, and those who were found to have acted in a manner, quote unquote, unbecoming of an officer, have been discharged
Yes.
from service.
Big-
They've
big-
been punished. I know about those cases.
Yes,
so
there have
all I'm
been.
saying is your proposition is unexceptionable. There should be a thorough investigation. But if there is another side, which is what you had said at the beginning of
Yes.
the discussion, that really pertains to the spouses. So clearly, there is another side. Let there be an investigation. And all I am saying as a neutral observer is that in the case that hit the media this morning, that which went to the Honorable Defence Minister, I am surprised that the media just left it on one particular, shall we say, side of the story and did not either connect the
Which
dots
is-
and the T's.
which is,
because I, as a neutral observer, looking at what's in the public domain,
which
found
is-
something very
which-
inconsistent.
which,
that 18th of April, there is an agreement, that the case that hit the press today,
No, which is...
about the report that went to the Honorable Defence Minister,
Yes, but-
that after an agreement is reached between the estranged couple,
Yes.
8 days later, the family of the girl sends a serious letter to the Honorable Defence
Well,
Minister with
to that-
allegations, and he just says, I'll investigate it.
To that...
So the media has not been that vigorous.
Commander Uday Bhaskar, to that I would again disagree with you, because the Defence Minister acted on it. The letter was sent, and it can equally be said the fact that, you are saying there was an agreement does not take away. No agreement can take away from the fact that if there is 1% truth in the allegations, it must be investigated. I think it's time to look at this in detail. And ma'am, I want to thank you for joining us in our studios in Delhi, for speaking out. I thank Brigadier.
I would like to tell you before
Yeah.
one sentence or no, I like to tell you.
Yes, briefly.
This Navy is harassing me in highest order. Morning, 5 o'clock, Saturday morning, 5 o'clock, somebody came from Southern Naval Command, stating they came from Kerala. They want to check out whether I am mad or not. And they want my home address, whatever address proof. They visited
Well, I
three
think-
places wherever I stayed.
I think, ma'am...
And they are torturing me of highest order.
Well, I think...
And you are talking about investigation. No investigation is going on. They have manipulated police. They are manipulating court. They are just trying to finish me. They are telling me to take the case back. There are emails with me. They are telling somehow you take the case back, or else we
I
are going
don't-
to finish you.
now your case is in the public domain. And I understand that now that it's in the public domain, it's being discussed, you cannot take it back without giving it a fair closure. And justice must not just be done, it must be seen to be done. Ma'am, I thank
nobody
you.
is
I'm
giving
running
me
short of
proper
time.
investigation.
I'm running short of time. We'll follow it up. I'll get the Navy's point of view as well. Once again tomorrow, Commodore Bhaskar, Brigadier Chatterjee, and thank you very much for joining me on this discussion. Thank you.